Hello, our friends, Hearts Ohm family. We're on Hearts Ohm now, so hello there. I'm getting used to this. I'm working on it. Thanks for working with me.
She's awesome, and what can we do? What can we do? We just have to roll with the punches. And so many people are saying, "Did you get a new mic? Because your voice has been off." But now my throat chakra has been under attack for a while. So yeah, it's just par for the course.
Yes.
It actually goes back to two things. Well, one thing is a very, very touchy topic. Literally, it's involving taking the third tick off of a very, very ouchy area in a short amount of time. And then the night I took the dogs out, like 2 or 3 a.m., and there was that weird sideways material coming out of the sky that Mr. MBB was talking about up in New York State. Well, apparently it's been happening in many different places. And so, like the next night, then I started to lose my voice, and I've been having problems with, kind of like a laryngitis. It seems to be attacking my voice, and I sure know that there's definitely, quote unquote, dark demonic forces that really want to shut me up.
They do. They want us shut down. They want many of us to be quiet, those who are able to see and understand further into the matrix more and more and more. And so many of you were texting me, and you guys don't know each other. You don't know where one another is from. You just text me on kind of a personal basis saying, hey, I'm feeling this or I'm feeling that, and I can put these things together and see like this picture being painted, and I can ask, okay, well, what's going on here with our collective? Because it is really happening to so many who are sensitive, those who are waking up, and those who are able to speak the truth.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to do was just to do a quick little recap on the 3 channels that we have on YouTube. Evolutionary, which we're starting to get kind of into a groove with. Again, Evolutionary, it came about August of 2017. That was when we started this. And literally, I started the channel right around the time of the eclipse, the first eclipse. So when I think about it, so much of our mission is centered around the 3 eclipses, and the last eclipse is going to be April 8th of next year. And doesn't mean we're going to stop. We're not going to stop until they pry the mic from our dead hands. Yeah. Okay, Hearts Home. Sorry, I'm gonna keep it lighter, guys. I'm gonna keep it lighter here. Yeah, no, we won't stop. But this was the original channel. And then I started to get the impression that we needed to create a backup channel, and that was EEARTS, which I created right before we got demonized over at Evolutionary, and they started to hit us with strikes and take down videos, and they did demonetize the channel. So Evolutionary has again been around over 6 years, but the vast majority of that time, every video that's gone up there has been demonetized. So with all the videos that we've done over there, by far the vast majority have been demonetized. And EEARTS, they've basically choked it out so that it'll stay at a certain level. But it's a blessing to be able to reach anybody with this information, because again, it's a tidal wave, and each one of us, if we could touch 2 people and those 2 people touch 2 more and 2 more, we're gonna end up shedding tremendous light on what is going on in the planet. In fact, we're going to turn on spotlights so bright that nothing is going to be hidden anymore. And then Hearts Home, we had a lot of people that just, they like us, and they like the lighter side of what we do, but they just can't tolerate the news anymore. So we decided we would do this channel where we're going to stay on the lighter side for those people that, don't want to watch the news. They don't want anything to pull them down. So over here, we stay on the lighter side of things. Now, Brighteon, we are Evolutionary Energy Arts, so we do upload to Brighteon. Rumble, we are EEARTS, and there's links on every single video that goes up with all these different links. And on Bitchute, we're also EEARTS. And when you go over to Ko-Fi, you'll find us as Evolutionary Energy Arts, and also on Patreon, Evolutionary Energy Arts. Now, Patreon gets every single video we do, and about every third or fourth video is going to be a Patreon-only exclusive, because we really want to give back to those that are supporting us in the times of demonetization, because again, you got to face decisions, and they try to starve you out. And the support we get at Patreon keeps us up and running, so we could keep doing these videos. And now, going back to Miss Cindy, about something the guides wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Well, over the last few weeks, we've had definitely some really amazing sun flares, and we've also had some attacks on our personal lives, as far as being able to function in the 3D, like Mike getting his throat chakra attacked, and other people getting so very, very sick, especially people that are sensitive and already have their abilities are starting to come in. They're kind of getting knocked on their butt a little bit, but Source has a way of bringing back and helping us and giving us information and separating us from the things that are happening in the 3D that keep a lot of people down. But I asked, because I've heard from a few people some things that sounded very curious and very similar. So I asked our guides, this includes the Galactic Federation, I asked for their input as well. And they told me to imagine myself in a dark room, and where there's just enough light that you can just make out these certain shapes. You can see these things. You know that there's things out there, but you can't see them very well. Now, imagine that is a dimmer switch, and you are turning it up. You're turning it up a little more so you can see better what these things are. You can make them out. You can see that they have form. And yet turn this dimmer switch up even more, and you can start to see deeper into the shadows. The light is starting to shine on things and shine in things, where you can now see things that were always there, but they weren't there to you, if that makes sense. These things have always been there, but because of this dimmer switch going up, up, and up, you can now see them. At the same time, what this is going to do is this is bringing us to a point where we are separating from this 3D reality in a way where, when this process is done, I feel so many people are going to be out of sight of the controllers. Now, when is this going to happen? I don't know, but I see the process has started. So now we can see into places, and we can see things that have always been there that we weren't able to see before. And it's really very exciting. It can be somewhat confusing. Someone mentioned that it was confusing, and that confusion is definitely something that we need, because it keeps us in a state of wonder. Our natural human state, we should always be in a state of wonder. This actually helps us manifest. And a lot of you that we have regular sessions with, I can help you walk through this, because when you do start to awaken and you start on this journey, it can be really scary. It can be difficult. It can be confusing. You don't know if you are in the right spot, in the wrong spot. And understanding that you're not the only one is so extremely helpful. And I think that's why people do come to channels like this, to know that they are not alone. And when they're experiencing things, it's not because there's anything bad going on. It's just a natural progression of something that they have been working on. And yes, this is for those who have been working on this spiritual aspect of life. And there is no dogma involved. It's just simply a spiritual aspect. And it's nature. It's nature taking its course. So it's us moving into a new place of the yugas, where we can see things that have always been, but we couldn't see them before. So I hope that helps.
Absolutely. So again, we are returning to a time of myth and legends. That's one of the more exciting things to think about. Like, what happened? Why do we have all these legends about, dragons and elves and gnomes and all these wild, cool beings and creatures. And why is none of that around us? Well, it is around us. It's always been around us. It didn't go anywhere. It's just our perceptive abilities changed. The system locked us down. And when you think about it, when you are in a city, what can you see? Like if I remember being in Charlotte, North Carolina once, and it was for some sort of meeting, and we were watching some really unusual UFO activity, actually, and it hit me. It's like, what can I see? I could see, I think that's Venus. I think that's Jupiter. Maybe a couple of stars. Does that mean that when you're in the city, the stars aren't there? No, of course they're there. Then when Cindy and I would go and take a little ride around the bend when we're living in Death Valley and got outside a little town, there's no lights. It's mind-blowing what the Milky Way looks like at night there. I mean, just insane, because you could never even conceive of how many stars are out there. You could never begin to count. You could see, I don't know, what can you see? Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of stars, tens of millions of stars. I mean, there's so many stars out there in the night sky, yet from the vantage point of being inside, New York City or LA or any of the big cities, even a moderate-sized city, you can't see that much. And yet, when you get out there, where the light situation is different, then you realize, holy cow, look at them all. This is part of what the system has done with us, not even realizing it. The artificial lights all around us are taking away from what is really there. And we start to lose touch with it. We start to think, well, there's not that much out there. It's always gray. It's always hazy. It's always cloudy. In the other yugas where we live in harmony with nature and with everything in the natural world, we live in harmony with it because we understand the wisdom of living in harmony with it. We don't try to get nature to bend to our will. We live in a symbiotic way with nature. And that's what we're going to be heading to. And then we're going to have this expansion of our perceptions that's going to be literally mind-blowing for people. I know when I was working and I all of a sudden could see the life force, around everything, and it sent me to the eye doctor. I think I was 22, something like that, when I noticed, 21, 22. And several times I went to the eye doctor because a friend of mine was going through med school, and he's like, "Oh, I think you might be going blind, dude. You should get it checked out." And no, I wasn't going blind. I was just starting to expand my ability to perceive what's always been there. But it happened to coincide with starting to do a regular meditative practice. And again, those that really prioritize meditation, mantras, yoga, Qigong, mind, body, breath, if you're going to exercise it, you're going to reap the benefits, but you have to exercise it.
Mm-hmm. Right. And you will be able to see things that have always been there that you haven't seen before. And it might be a flash of a vision. It might be some things going on in dreams. Just remember that there's really no abnormality. These are all things that would be happening to everyone if we were in that practice of mind, body, spirit, and grounding, being with the earth, tending to your garden, tending to trees, deliberately grounding. All of these things are going to bring about these abilities and bring about a magical world around you where things are going to be a little bit different. But take the time to kind of decipher things for yourself. Ask, what does this mean for you specifically? It doesn't have to mean anything in particular, but it is curious when you ask yourself, well, what does this mean for me? Because if you're seeing it, it's definitely for you. It's a gift from the universe for you to give you a different type of perceptive abilities. When they change and things come online, it can be a very startling and confusing state, but just keep grounding and you're going to do just fine.
So this is the exciting part of it. And there was a very, very famous book. It was at the top of the bestseller list for such a long time, called The Celestine Prophecy. And they made a very, very cheesy movie after it. But yet it did have some things in there that were really good, such as seeing the life force. And also a scene or two where it was talking about going up in frequency and vibration and amplifying the love between all of us. And you can literally start to become invisible to the lower frequencies. And this is what they were trying to get across. This is what we've been trying to see a little clearer, to really get a better perspective on. Because, again, when we did EEARTS, the whole idea is that there is some sort of separation that happens. But it's not really a separation of the planet giving birth to another version of itself or anything like that. It's more all about perception.
It's more about understanding what all is there, that there's so much more there than meets the eye. And when we are able to perceive these things, it puts us in a different state of mind. It puts us in a different state of beings, and everything just changes. It just changes. And it's something that the 3D realm, the 3D matrix, definitely wants to keep away from us. And one of the best ways to keep this information away from us is to keep us locked into the matrix, keep us locked in on our tablets, keep us locked online, keep us locked in the education system, the monetary system, especially the medical system. That's their favorite way to keep us locked into their matrix, where we are unable to see the dimmer switch turn up and up and up because you're locked into the 3D. It's like they put you in a room and they shut the door and what you see is all you get. Oh, it's not like that. Those who are really working on it, doing their best, are able to see beyond. And it's just a matter of time to see what is that really going to look like.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we look to these myths and legends, they are rooted in fact. And in fact, many of these beings, these creatures, these entities that we've heard of only in stories, we may ourselves really encounter and see with our own eyes, as our two eyes become accustomed to also utilizing the single eye, and the integration of the perceptions from the single eye into the double, two physical eyes. That's going to change everything. And we are each unique. Like typically, Cindy and I both see in different ways, and we will receive visions differently. Yet at the same time, we are often getting the same information, and we do end up kind of confirming each other. Well, this makes sense because remember you were seeing that. Oh yeah, well that goes with this. And then, okay, well now we could see what they were trying to get across. And you'll probably be going through the same thing. And, I see all the time, like we were out cutting the lawn, and I could see there's something, to the side of me. And then I recognize it's just an angel, standing guard and protecting the property. These type of perceptions just get to be clearer and clearer as we work with a regular daily. It's got to be really daily. I mean, do what you can do, but strive for a daily practice.
Mm-hmm. We have a lot of children being born now that do have these abilities. And I can tell you, if you're a parent with one of these very special children, one thing that they are seeing is, they are seeing that they do not know the difference between their third eye and their two eyes. So whatever they see, they just see. It does take time and some life experience, and then those things start to blend together, the third eye and the two eyes, because this is what I went through. I never bothered asking anybody about the other things that I saw because I thought everyone could see them. I didn't realize I was seeing through my third eye. So that's a very, very common. And it just takes, a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and meditation to go back and remember the way you used to do these things as a child. So if you were a child that was gifted, it's about going back and remembering how this information came to you and deciphering it and analyzing it and expressing it in a way that makes sense for you now. So we can all do it. It's just very exciting that the solar flares, all the information that's coming forward now, it's starting to show itself.
Very exciting times. So again, we might be finding ourselves literally encountering some very, very interesting beings from myths and legends. And this is just part of the excitement of what's ahead, because once the system breaks down, then truly what's ahead is just, it's wonderful compared to what we've known in our life.
Indeed.
As always, guys, much love. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.